A to Mike.
Hey, go for Mike.
J1 is heading towards Hickory.
So we got a 415 on Hickory.
Copy, that's what was said.
Our school is located at statistically the most dangerous intersection in the city of Los Angeles. 103rd and Grape Street is a flashpoint for many acts of violence.
I'll let you know if we code 4. Hey, Chili Will, they said we got a fight on Hickory.
When they talk about, hey, did you hear what happened on 69th last night? They say, yeah, I heard what happened. I was outside when it happened, you know? I heard the gunshots.
The trauma alone, like we haven't even begun to talk about the effects of trauma and how that impacts a young person's ability to be successful.
There was a young man that was killed on that corner down here. So I just was wondering if I was here to mediate or to step in or, you know, play referee or whatever, maybe the kid still be alive.
I definitely feel that education is extremely important, but if you don't have the other part together, the behavioral or the social emotional part together, how can you get to the educational side?
Remember to think about being empathetic when we go for the talking piece if you see someone already.
The social emotional component that we implement at Joiner has to be a very natural part of our day. We start our class sessions off with restorative justice circles at least twice a week, each class.
One time my brother had kicked the ball into the alley by accident. I went to go get it and it was this crazy man in the alley doing drugs.
Watts has 5 housing projects within 1 mile square radius of the school. So with that comes the impact that poverty has on a school community.
There's like a secret place, like a whole bunch of people like hide bullets.
What I hope that the students carry with them once they grow and mature and go into the world is really a sense of empathy. So I'd really like you to think about your happy place.
My happy place, my grandma's house, because she passed away and she loved all her family and I loved her.
We've found that the restorative justice component in our classrooms have done a tremendous job for assuaging some of the pain that they might be experiencing out in the community.
We are the Bulldogs, as Jordan Bulldogs. I don't mind us being a little hard around the edges, but then once you get to know us, the school, the community, the kids, it's like, oh my God, they're so sweet. That really sort of encompasses the school. So I think the Bulldog is a very appropriate mascot for our school.
Consider our RJ agreements as we're participating today.
Restorative practices is part of our culture.
We're gonna do 4 rounds of circle today.
Slowly we've been building up to it.
So as we're reading Lord of the Flies and we're seeing that these characters are having conflict between them, think about, is it important to fit in? Why or why not?
We're actually going to take even bigger steps next year as we're bringing in a restorative justice coordinator. This will be the first time that we'll actually have a coordinator or that position on this campus.
When RJ came around, I felt like it was kind of like a kumbaya thing, and I'm not really a kumbaya person. Whoever wants to start a discussion can pick up our talking piece. And I thought, well, you know what? Restorative justice, that's probably not what I would call it. It's called building a personal relationship with a student. So entonces, nos da su opinión y ¿Quién quiere empezar la discusión? ¿Pertenecer nos afecta positivamente o negativamente?
Pienso que nos afecta positivo y negativamente positivamente porque uno se siente bien, el compañerismo, pero también puede ser negativo porque tal vez puede ser una mala influencia, una mala amistad.
They bring a lot of prior knowledge, even if they don't have the language skills to understand the text or to complete the writing assignment.
Para mí sí es importante pertenecer porque estoy muy seguro que todos necesitamos de todo y si no tienes a nadie pues es difícil. My name is Walter Batres. I came here at 17, like around 16 or something. It was almost 2 years ago. Now I just live with my brother. My mom and my dad, they still live with my brother in El Salvador, my little brother. And it was hard. I didn't want to come to school. I was scared about the English.
A big element of coming to this country and being new to this country is belonging. Where do you belong and how do you stay positive? Even when you're faced with all the challenges of being a new immigrant in this country.
I want to tell you something about my life. One night, I had a dream, okay? I was sleeping, and I was with my mom. I woke up, I think I'm going to my mom's room. I was like, oh, she's not here. And I started to cry, and then that make her.
Circle provides us an opportunity to pull in all that prior knowledge and all that life experience and be able to connect on a human level.
When we first started here, we were at about 34% graduation rate. So just a little over 3 out of 10 students were graduating. And this past year, we went a little over 70%. So more than doubled it in just 4 years.
We have a suspension rate of 4%, which is good. It's going to get better as we continue to grow and develop the skills to find alternative ways to respond to young people when they misbehave.
Folks, I need y'all in class. Let's go. Keep moving. Let's go, y'all. Get to class, folks.
It's a penal system that we're most comfortable with implementing and engaging and using. So even the most caring of adults in school systems usually want to see some type of punishment for when a young person does what young people do, make mistakes and do wrong things, right?
I made contact with your parent. I left a message on voicemail. Why? Because of your behavior.
What behavior?
A buddy of mine, Mrs. Clark, came up with the idea of doing academic hour. I explained to the students that if you have 3 tardies, you have an academic hour. One student in the back of the auditorium raises her hand and says, well, is you essentially saying that academic hour is really detention? Because you're really actually doing the same thing. No, we're not. This is academic hour. You'll be doing work during your academic hour. You'll be catching up on your assignments. When is detention used to ever do those things? So it's designed to give students the opportunity to improve their grades and not to fall behind.
We invest a lot in case managers. So we have 4 full-time case managers at Oakland High.
Why are you late? You know what? Because you had a late school night last night.
Since local control funding formula, we've definitely received more funding. The amount of flexibility we have is exactly what a school site wants. You want funding that your school community dictates how it's spent. And we've been able to do that. So our ability to have a restorative justice coordinator on site, our ability to have case managers on site is in part due to that. Truancy in our school is a big problem.
You know what? Y'all get a lot of passes.
And a big part of the role of our case managers is contacting parents and having meetings with parents to figure out what we can do to get young people to get to school on time.
A lot of blood. We deal with everything that our kids drop on our laps. You know, it's hard at the beginning because they don't trust you yet. They don't know what's your intentions.
Let's go, y'all. Let's get to class. What's up?
But once they realize that you do care for them, they will pretty much bring you anything. So I've dealt with it all. All of us have.
I've heard some of the worst stories ever. I had a student of mine whose father was also the father of her child. Like, I know horrific stories, right? But just on a daily basis, a family just experiences unemployment for long periods of time. That alone creates trauma. So students who don't have access to bus fare to get to school, and they want to come, who don't have enough money to wash their clothes. We do professional development for the last 2 years and just really just continuing to understand the harmful effects of trauma, both from a neurological perspective, a physical, emotional perspective.
I'm going to take you guys by the AAMA program real quick to introduce you to that teacher.
And there's no one in schools that are suffering more than African-American males. In some parts of Oakland, only 40% of African-American male students graduate from high school.
All right, so let's kick off, right? Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. All right.
When you look at dropout rates, African-American males are the highest. School to prison pipeline, African-American males are the highest. Like, in all data points, African-American males lead it in the wrong direction.
They're currently working on questions for our visit from the Vice Chancellor of Cal Berkeley, Miss Naila Nasir. We want to definitely ask her questions that only she can answer. What we gotta try to tiptoe around are questions that we can answer ourselves looking on the internet.
Up until this year, we just had manhood development class. And the thought around that was to have a class every day, just like every other class, taught by African-American men for African-American boys.
That makes sense, y'all? Yeah. Cool, okay.
This year, we expanded it to an academy. So right now, they take the manhood development class, their 10th grade English, and their 10th grade social studies within the Kepra Academy.
Check it out! We got time to be productive.
We got time to play.
We got time to be productive.
We got time to play.
So, in 2 minutes, we're going to have the first read-off of About Naila question. It's about how to transform. How do I see myself? What is my purpose and why am I here? And if you can start answering those 3 questions differently for yourself, you're creating who you want to be and not just taking the initial platform that society has put out there for us, especially as black men. But I think also what they are looking forward to is more of their own cultural relevancy and cultural history. Only thing we get to hear about is maybe a little bit of Egypt, a couple of pyramids, and then boom, slave trade. So when we come in thinking about ourselves and thinking about our place in this country, what happens is we start thinking of ourselves as a slave first and not as someone that was a leader of civilization. You know what I mean? Great people that can map the earth based on the stars. So it gives them a better starting point when it comes to thinking about themselves. Best question gets to 125. Okay? We can have Brother David vote. Let's make sure we can hear this question, y'all. So Derek is going to hit us with this question about Naila. What you got?
If there was a WNBA, would you go or still be a vice chancellor? If so, why?
So jumping in, Jordan?
Yeah.
Jump in, Jordan.
Did you encounter any racist acts while you were in this position? If so, how did you handle the situation?
Did they ask her, did she grow up without her dad, or is her dad in jail? Or are her parents like going through it? Did they ask to like fill your hair? Did they treat you like a pet?
Jemani?
Are there any African American students that feel discriminated or ever feel like giving up just because there should be more resources or there's not enough emotional support? And do some students feel like they should act like a different race just because they know they're not like them, but if they act like them, maybe they would be an exception?
Hey, I didn't think it was going to be like this. And Amin, what was your question?
Even though there's no special treatment, what factors do you take into consideration when you're dealing with an African-American applicant?
2 excellent questions.
God damn, it is early, man.
260. We have a strong sense of reality in the classroom. Well, you been out robbing people? You a stick-up kid now? I mean, who could deny some cash, right? Cash is king. Even though I'm getting this fake money in class, I realize what it actually means to get my work done. They're able to use the money to buy certain things from the classroom, like snacks or certain supplies. It's really getting them more into the adult life. No, money flying, money flying.
150.
And if we get them in the habit of that now and get them to associate that their hard work goes along with what they earn and what they can get in this world, then I think we're kind of setting them up on the road to success, at least financially, in terms of hard work and work ethic when they get into the adult life and in college.
That's the $1 million question, or whatever the LCFF funding number is. Like, that's the question. Does RJ, does restorative practices, does trauma-informed teaching, is there a difference? So anecdotally, without a doubt, like, I don't see how our school could run and survive without our case managers and without our young people having someone like that to talk to. Like, all young people want an adult on campus that they have a strong relationship with.
We got one of our star basketball players right here and his girlfriend.
Hi.
They both seniors going to college. Come here.
Come here.
Tell them what college you're going to.
I'm going to Cal State Fullerton.
Okay.
Just look me up.
Cal State
Montel
Fullerton.
Taylor.
Montel Taylor, great basketball player.
Great things will happen to our kids, and life will happen to our kids, but they will be resilient. Our job is to give them whatever skills we can in the short time that we have to help them be successful, to complete their requirements so they can graduate, and if we're able to and we're invested enough, to give them hope.
Led the team to the playoffs.
You know,
3 years in a row.
So this is why we do what we do, to make sure that our kids can go to college. All right, yeah.